"Your family is toxic and will ruin our wedding if they come." So I believed her and cut all contact for months. 3 days before the ceremony, my sister showed up crying at my office. My girlfriend never sent them invitations and had been intercepting all their messages pretending to be me. I am Nathan, 28, marketing coordinator here in Nashville. My now ex-girlfriend, Amber, 26, and I have been together for 14 months, engaged for the last 6. She is a social media manager who seemed perfect at first, charming, attentive, said all the right things about wanting to meet my family and be part of our tight-knit group. Should have known someone that eager to blend into my life had ulterior motives. Here is the thing. I come from what I thought was a pretty great family. My parents, Carol, 52F, nurse, and Mark, 55M, electrician, are solid people who raised us with Sunday dinners, game nights, camping trips, the whole traditional family deal. My sister, Jessica, 24F, college student, and I talk weekly, share inside jokes, help each other with life stuff, typical sibling relationship. My buddy Ryan always said, "Dude, you have the family everyone wishes they had." Luck should have been my first clue about why Amber targeted me. When Amber first met them 8 months ago, she seemed to love hearing family stories and asked tons of questions about our traditions. "Tell me about growing up with such a close family," she would say. "I have never experienced that." First dinner went well, or so I thought. She was charming, asked thoughtful questions, complimented Mom's cooking. Afterward, she was quiet during the drive home and said they were intense and very involved in my life. I figured she just needed time to adjust. Not everyone grows up with close families like mine. But then the comments started getting more pointed. "Month 3, your mom called 3 times today. That is a lot. Don't you think that is excessive?" Month 4, "Jessica always has some drama she needs your help with. It is like she cannot handle anything alone." Month 5, they don't respect your independence as an adult man." I was defensive at first. They are just close. That is how we are. That is how I was raised. But Amber was persistent, always framing it as concern for our relationship. "Your dad interrupted you 5 times at dinner last night. He doesn't value your opinions or respect when you are speaking. Did you notice how your mom rearranged our weekend plans without asking us first? Is not respecting our autonomy as a couple. Jessica only calls when she needs something. That is not healthy. You are her brother, not her personal problem solver." Amber would arrive late to family events, then claim Carol gave her dirty looks or made passive-aggressive comments. When Jessica had her birthday party, Amber got sick at the last minute with a mysterious headache. I went alone and came home to find her crying on the couch. "They talked about me the whole time, didn't they? I could tell from your texts during the party." I said no. They barely mentioned her. "Exactly. They exclude me intentionally. They want you there without me." By month 8, Amber was using therapy language she would obviously researched. "Your family shows classic signs of emotional enmeshment. This codependent dynamic is unhealthy for our relationship growth. I have been reading about toxic family patterns online. This fits perfectly." I was confused, but they have always been supportive of everything I do. She said that is what makes it insidious. They disguise control as love and support. Month 10. She escalated to ultimatum territory. "I cannot build a life with someone who is more married to his family than his partner. Choose me and our future together, or them and your past dependency." Healthy adults prioritize their spouse over their birth family. I was terrified of losing her, so I started setting boundaries that felt wrong but seemed necessary. Stopped answering every call immediately. Had to wait at least an hour before calling back. When I proposed 3 months ago, Amber immediately took control of wedding planning. "This is our day. We should invite people who truly support us as a couple. Your family will just cause drama and stress. Do we really want that negativity on our special day?" She convinced me to keep the guest list small and intimate. "Let's focus on friends who actually support our relationship instead of people who undermine it." When I suggested including family, she would say after everything they have put us through, after all the boundary violations, they need to earn that privilege back. Here is where it gets absolutely insane. Amber gradually took over my phone and social media management. I will handle RSVPs and planning details since I am better at organization. You focus on work, and let me manage the wedding stress. When family called, she would answer. Then she would tell me later your mom called again. Same guilt tripping about being excluded from planning. I believed my family was being dramatic about the wedding for months. But 3 days ago, Jessica showed up at my office, and everything I thought I knew about my life fell apart. Update 1. Holy shit, guys. This completely blew up overnight. Had to take yesterday off work to deal with this absolute nightmare. Phone screen cracked when I threw it against the wall after reading all the intercepted messages. So just got it fixed this morning and can finally update you properly. The rabbit hole goes so much deeper than I thought, and my coworkers are asking questions I never expected to answer. So 3 days ago, I am at my marketing job doing normal Wednesday stuff, reviewing campaign analytics, prepping for client meetings, thinking about final wedding details. Around 2 p.m. security calls up to my floor. Nathan, there is a young woman here in the lobby, says she is your sister Jessica. She is pretty upset and asking to see you urgently. I was confused because Jessica never comes to my downtown office, and she should be in her afternoon classes at Vanderbilt anyway. Something serious must have happened. I take the elevator down to the lobby, and Jessica is standing by the security desk. Tear-stained face, hands shaking like she is freezing. The second she sees me, she breaks down completely and starts sobbing. They've been trying to reach you for months. We thought something horrible happened. I am standing there like a complete idiot going, "What are you talking about? What do you mean trying to reach me?" Amber said. She has been handling family communication and keeping me updated. Jessica pulls out her iPhone and shows me the message thread with my contact. Jessica pulls out a number 47 messages over the past 3 months that I never sent. "Nathan, these aren't from you," she says, scrolling through them with trembling fingers. "They are formal, cold, nothing like how you actually talk or text. Look at this language." She starts reading them out loud in the middle of my office. Lobby, Brooks family. Nathan has decided minimal contact is best for his mental health and relationship growth. Wedding is private ceremony for immediate friends only. Your presence would create unnecessary stress and drama. Please respect our boundaries during this important time in our lives. My stomach dropped to the basement floor. I never even saw them. Amber must have been using my phone to send them while I was sleeping, but it gets so much worse. Jessica shows me her call log on her phone. She has been trying to call me almost daily for the past 6 weeks. "Nathan, we never got wedding invitations. Mom's been crying herself to sleep for weeks thinking you hate our entire family. Dad thinks we did something horrible to you and you are punishing us by cutting us out." Right there in my office lobby. I check my phone settings. Family numbers, blocked. Every single one. Mom, Dad, Jessica, even my grandparents and aunts. I had absolutely no idea any of this was happening. Jessica plays me the last voicemail Mom left 2 days ago. "Son, we don't know what we did wrong or how we hurt you. We love you so much, and we are so proud of the man you have become. If you need space from us, we understand, but please don't shut us out forever. We just want to know you are okay and that you are happy. We miss you terribly." I started crying right there in my corporate office lobby. My mom's voice sounded so broken, so confused and hurt. She thought I hated them. She thought I would deliberately excluded them from the most important day of my life. "Nathan, what kind of person does this?" Jessica asked, her voice getting angry now. "What kind of psychopath pretends to be someone else for months and destroys family relationships? This isn't normal girlfriend behavior. This is manipulation and identity theft." My coworker Sarah from the marketing team saw me crying in the lobby and came over to check if everything was okay. When I explained what was happening, her face went white. "Nathan, that is not relationship issues. That is psychological abuse. You need to get away from her immediately." I told Jessica I needed to go home immediately and confront Amber about all of this. She begged me to come to Mom and Dad's house first, to see them before talking to Amber. But I said I had to handle this situation with my girlfriend first. Looking back, that was the biggest mistake. I should have listened to Jessica's instincts. I drive home, hands literally shaking on the steering wheel the entire 20-minute trip. My mind was racing. How long had this been going on? What else had Amber been hiding from me? How many family moments had I missed because I thought they didn't want me there? Amber's at our apartment, cheerful as can be, surrounded by wedding planning materials, and talking about last-minute details like centerpieces and seating arrangements. Hey babe, how was your day at work? Only 3 more days until we are married. I am so excited. Like nothing had happened. Like she hadn't been systematically destroying my family relationships for months. Amber, we need to talk about my family right now. Oh no, not this again. I thought, and why are their numbers blocked on my phone? We agreed on intimate ceremony with just close friends. Your family would have caused problems and drama on our special day. We didn't agree on anything. You decided everything, and you have been texting my family pretending to be me, telling them I don't want contact. She tried her usual gaslighting tactics. You are being paranoid and suspicious. Wedding stress is making you imagine things that aren't happening. I showed her Jessica's phone with all the fake messages, the blocked numbers, the evidence of months of deception. Her face went completely white, then red with anger. I was protecting you and protecting our relationship. They were harassing us constantly with their needy, codependent behavior. Everything I did was to preserve what we have together. That is when I completely lost it and started yelling. My mother has been crying for months thinking I hate her. My family raised me, loved me, supported every decision I have made, and you convinced me they were toxic. They were controlling you. They were keeping you from growing up. I freed you from that dysfunction. The only toxic person here is you. You isolated me from everyone who actually loves me. I packed a bag while she followed me around the apartment screaming about how I was throwing away our future over manipulative family members who want to control my life. She was still trying to convince me that she was the victim in this situation. I drove straight to my parents' house for the first time in over 4 months because of Amber's healthy boundaries. When Mom opened the front door and saw me standing there with my overnight bag, she just started crying and hugging me like I would come back from war. But wait until you hear what I discovered when I started going through my complete phone records and social media accounts. Update 2 couldn't sleep at all last night, so figured I would update while everything's still fresh and raw in my mind. Spent all of yesterday at my parents' house going through phone records, social media accounts, and email histories, and holy shit, Amber's systematic manipulation was so much more extensive and calculated than I initially thought. Also found out some disturbing things about her relationship history that made my skin crawl and explained everything. So I get to my parents' house Tuesday evening around 7 p.m., and it is like that emotional scene in movies where the prodigal son returns home. Mom couldn't stop hugging me and touching my face, like she was making sure I was real and actually there, nod shoulder and saying, "Welcome home, son," with tears in his eyes. Jessica drove over immediately when Mom called her, and we all sat in the living room I grew up in. We spent 4 hours going through everything methodically. I showed them all the fake texts Amber had been sending from my phone, the blocked numbers I had discovered, the entire systematic isolation campaign she had been running. Dad, who is usually pretty calm and measured about everything, got so angry he had to go outside and walk around the neighborhood block twice to cool down. "That woman stole our son from us," Mom said, crying again, while looking at the manipulative messages. "We thought we had lost you forever. We thought you had decided we weren't good enough for your new life." The worst part was learning how desperately they had been trying to reach me. Mom had been sending care packages to my apartment every few weeks. Amber must have been intercepting them and throwing them away. Dad had tried calling my work twice to make sure I was okay when I didn't return calls. Jessica had even driven by my apartment complex several times hoping to catch me coming or going. "We knew something was fundamentally wrong," Jessica said, scrolling through the fake messages again. "Those texts didn't sound like you at all. You don't talk like that, all formal and clinical, but we didn't know what else to do except keep trying." Wednesday morning, I decided to dig deeper into my phone records through my carrier's website. What I found was absolutely shocking. Amber had been systematically deleting voicemails from my family for months. The system showed dozens of deleted messages I never even knew existed. She had changed my passcode 3 times without telling me. She must have been watching me type it in and changing it later when I wasn't looking. But here is where it gets really disturbing and calculated. I logged into my social media accounts for the first time in months. Amber had been managing them as part of her helping with wedding stress and social media management. I found dozens of messages from family friends, college buddies, high school classmates, even former teachers who had heard about the wedding through mom. All of them asking why they weren't invited to the wedding. All of them confused about why I would become so distant and cold. Amber had been responding to them as me, giving detailed excuses about keeping things small and intimate, and focusing on our immediate future rather than past relationships. My college roommate Mike had messaged 2 weeks ago. "Dude, your mom called. My mom asking if I had heard from you lately. She is really worried sick. What is going on with you?" Amber had responded using my account. "Just need some space from family drama and past connections. Thanks for understanding and respecting our privacy." I never said that. I never even saw that message until yesterday. She had been destroying relationships I didn't even know were being damaged. Then Jessica found something that made us all go completely silent. She was looking through Amber's Instagram account, which I hadn't checked in months, because she said social media was distracting from real life, and found posts from before we started dating. Photos with captions like "finally cutting toxic people out of my life for good," and "sometimes family isn't who you are born to. It is who you choose to build your future with." But the really disturbing part, she had detailed posts about her ex-boyfriend from 2 years ago. Same exact pattern. Multiple posts about helping him set healthy boundaries with his overbearing family, and supporting him through difficult family dynamics and growth. I looked up this ex-boyfriend Kevin on Facebook and found him. Sent him a private message explaining my situation and asking if he had experienced anything similar. He called me within an hour, and what he told me made me physically sick. "Dude, she did the exact same thing to me," he said, his voice tight with old anger. "Convinced me my family was toxic and controlling. Isolated me from all my childhood friends. Took complete control of my social media and phone. I lost contact with everyone I cared about for almost a year. How did you finally figure out what was happening? My sister showed up at my job with printed screenshots, just like yours did. Amber had been intercepting my family's calls and messages for 8 months. When I confronted her about it, she tried to make me think I was going crazy and imagining things. What happened after you broke up with her? She stalked me for 3 months, then moved on to some other guy. This isn't just manipulation or relationship issues. It is a calculated pattern. Amber specifically targets men with close, loving families and systematically destroys those relationships for control. I called my buddy Ryan that night and told him everything that had happened. He was quiet for a long time, then said, "Nathan, I tried to warn you about her red flags months ago, but you completely shut me down and defended her. Remember when I said she seemed jealous and threatened every time you mentioned spending time with your family?" I barely remembered, but he was absolutely right. The few times Ryan had expressed concerns about Amber's controlling behavior, I had gotten defensive and changed the subject quickly. She had trained me not to listen to anyone who questioned our relationship. She had trained me then for a while to recover. And honestly, I think I need that healing time. I haven't felt this relaxed and peaceful in months. No walking on eggshells, no monitoring every phone call, no guilt about spending time with people who actually love me. But this morning, Amber showed up at my parents' house, and the confrontation was absolutely insane. Final update: cannot believe I am writing this update. But Amber showed up at my parents' house yesterday morning, demanding to see me, and the whole confrontation went completely off the rails. Also got some final closure about her manipulation tactics that explains everything. All simply, I was having coffee with mom and dad around 9 a.m., just enjoying normal family time I had missed for months, when the doorbell rang. Dad answered, and immediately his voice got cold and firm. "Nathan's not interested in talking to you. Please leave our property." Then I heard Amber's voice, high-pitched and desperate. "Please, Mr. Brooks. I just need 5 minutes to explain. This is all a huge misunderstanding. Your family has poisoned Nathan against me. I went to the front door against Dad's advice." Amber looked absolutely terrible. No makeup, hair messy, dark circles under her eyes, wearing the same clothes from 2 days ago. The perfect mask was completely gone. Nathan, thank God you are here. Your family has been manipulating you and filling your head with lies. They are making you think things about me that aren't true. Amber, you intercepted my family's messages for months. You pretended to be me and told them I didn't want them at our wedding. I was protecting our relationship from their constant interference. They were trying to control you and manipulate you away from me. Mom stepped up beside me, her nurse voice calm but firm. Young lady, my son is a grown man who makes his own decisions. We have never tried to control him or interfere in his relationships. You don't see it because you are the ones doing it. Amber shot back desperately. The constant phone calls, the mandatory family dinners, making him feel guilty for having his own independent life. Dad, bless him, stayed completely calm. We call because we love him and want to stay connected. We have family dinners because we genuinely enjoy each other's company. That is what normal, healthy families do. Normal families respect boundaries and don't smother their adult children. What boundaries? I asked. You made those up in your head. You convinced me my loving, supportive family was toxic, so you could isolate and control me. Amber broke down crying and begging me to come home so we could work through this together. She promised to go to therapy, to try harder with my family, to change whatever I wanted, whatever it took to save our relationship. I talked to your ex-boyfriend, Kevin. Isolation to him. Her face went completely white. Isolate from family. Take control of communication. Convince them everyone else is toxic. How many other guys have you done this to? She tried denying it, but Jessica had actually found a third ex-boyfriend on social media who confirmed the identical pattern when we reached out. I loved you more than anything, she screamed. I gave you everything I had. You didn't love me, I said calmly. You loved controlling me. There is a huge difference. Security cameras caught her keying Dad's truck in the driveway on her way out. We are filing a police report and considering a restraining order. It has been exactly 1 week since I called off the wedding. Lost some deposits on vendors, but honestly don't care at all. My family helped me move all my belongings out of the apartment while Amber was at work. She has been sending increasingly unhinged and threatening texts that I am forwarding to a lawyer. The best part? Yesterday was supposed to be our wedding day. Ryan came over and we watched football and drank beer. Just normal, healthy family time that Amber had convinced me was unhealthy codependency. I keep thinking about all the precious time I lost with them. Mom's birthday I missed because Amber had a panic attack. Jessica's college graduation I almost skipped because Amber had a family emergency. Dad's work promotion celebration I left early because Amber texted that she needed me home urgently. All manufactured crises designed to pull me away from my family. For anyone asking about red flags I missed, isolation happens gradually and sounds reasonable. She never said stop talking to your family. She said things like maybe we should set some healthy boundaries and successful couples prioritize each other. She made it sound like normal relationship advice. The phone control started as, let me help manage wedding stress, and became total communication. The family criticism began as innocent observations about their behavior and escalated to calling them toxic manipulators. I am back to weekly dinners with my parents. Jessica and I text daily again. Ryan and I are planning a guy's fishing trip we postponed because Amber thought it was immature. My family never changed. They were always this loving and supportive. Amber just convinced me to see their love as manipulation and control. To answer common questions. No, I am not dating anyone. Need time to heal. Yes, I am in therapy to understand how I got so manipulated. And yes, my family welcomed me back with zero judgment. Sometimes the people trying to save you from your family are the real problem.